Hello sweeties and most hearty welcome to my channel. My name is Ronnie and today I'm here with an old summer family estate. The idea behind this build was a time-worn house of the European style. I was thinking like French or Italian countryside, partially inspired by movies such as Call Me By Your Name or Under the Tuscan Sun. Now, I've got to admit it might seem a bit peculiar to be posting a summer build at the beginning of December. However, there's a symbolic reason behind it. 3.5 years ago, I posted my last build called Tiny Spring Cottage. So I reckoned we could start this new era with a build that connects us to my previous time spent here on YouTube. In that moment, like those, 3.5 years ago, I didn't know that I was going to take such a long hiatus, but a lot has happened in my life since then. Most importantly, I started a new full-time job where I'm just incredibly happy. I have the most wonderful bunch of people around me. My colleagues are basically all my friends, and I have a great boss. Of course, there are some ups and downs, but the people around me make it all worth it. I also applied for a PhD program. I managed to work on my thesis for 2 years. I also presented my work in progress at a conference, but this summer I made the decision to take a break and pause my studies. At this point, unfortunately, it feels like a crazy amount of work for not that much money, and I have to admit I've lost some motivation. But we'll see, I've got time to change my mind. Another life update is that I've moved in with my boyfriend, and once again I just couldn't be happier right now. So all of this has led me to consider bringing my channel back to life. During the hiatus, I kept building in The Sims 4 and recording basically everything. And recently, this passion has been multiplied manyfold over, which is why I've realized I really want to give this another chance to let it completely devour me. So I hope you will enjoy this journey as much as I will. Now, I've spent a major amount of time just talking about myself, so I should probably give you some info on this build. The house costs 127,051 simoleons with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, intended for a family of 6. The parents, 2 toddlers and 2 kids/teens. The estate is made of stone to keep the warmth away, and its primary colors are green and yellow to keep the cheerful look of summer holidays. Now that's for the scripted part of this voiceover. Right now I just want to apologize because I am incredibly rusty. I feel like I have no idea what to say during those voiceovers, so please just bear with me. It's going to take some time for me to, get back to it, to feel more confident in this. So apologies, and I really hope you will understand. So now you still see me working on the exterior of the build. Like I mentioned before, I knew that I meant to use the stone because that's kind of what I associate with summer estates. Here you can see me using this wall decoration from, and I hope that's Jungle Adventure, to make this build look more realistic. I'm also adding some planters, there are small balconies. All of it is meant to provide some detail to the build while also keeping it all nice and cheerful and summery. The path leading towards the entry of the house is probably one of the most detailed and difficult ones I've ever made in The Sims. I don't think I've ever spent this much time on something like that. You could see me struggling with it a bit because I try to use those rounded platforms, and for some reason there's been some collision happening and I just couldn't figure out what's going on. So you could have seen me use or try to use the stairs, but they weren't working the way I wanted them. So instead I've decided to just use the platforms, and that way I could keep the stone fences I've used for the balconies as well, because this type of fence, I hope I'm not mistaken, but it's from Discover University, and there's not a variation for railings. So anything I tried genuinely didn't make any sense. Now you can see me using this fence from Get Together, and as you could have noticed, I really didn't like the way it looked, so I cheated it a bit and make this one coherent piece of fence instead of having those panels divided into several sections. I kind of didn't like that look that much. So now I'm still working on the front yard. I feel I've already mentioned the price, and part of it is definitely associated with this front yard. I've used a lot of bushes in here. I have no idea how much they cost, but I don't think it's that cheap. Truth to be told, I could have used the one from the debug menu, but I have to admit I'm usually lazy to do that, and I'll just grab those from the regular catalogs. Now I'm working on the landscaping. This is a very, very traditional, let's say, landscaping for me at least. I use those plants all the time. They're my favorite, and what can you do? I just enjoy them very much. Now I'm moving to the backyard. I'm kind of think I'm not going to stay there for that long, but maybe I'm mistaken. No, I'm still there. Awesome. So since this is a summer estate, I knew one thing, and that's I have to use the pool tool and have a pool there. Can you imagine summer holidays without a pool? Well, I can, because I definitely don't have that much money to have a summer estate or a pool. But if you're a family who can afford it, then you probably have a pool as well, right? Now I'm working on this little gazebo next to the pool, and I have to admit I was genuinely happy with this part of the build. At this point you can't really see much. I'm using the roof piece from, and once again I think it's Jungle Adventure, and this furniture from Get Together, I hope. This type of furniture is something I don't use that often, because in the interiors it just doesn't work for me usually, but I think it's a great garden furniture. I was genuinely happy that it had those green details, so it all came together. Now I'm doing one of my most favorite things when I'm decorating pools. Usually I have no idea what to do, but I like to add this decoration and to make it look like it's Mama Turtle with two little babies. It looks so cute. It gives it some sort of interesting detail. It's not all just one box, usually the way the pools look, and I just think it looks more organic, and I genuinely enjoy it. Once again, we're back to the front yard. We're making some, I'm pretty sure, some final changes. I might move some things around a bit more. I'm also using this pool item to make the fountain more interesting. It think it's kind of a cool detail when you at the end of this video you can see the pictures, and I just think it looks way better than when you just use the fountain itself. Now here you can see me creating this little path to the backyard. I'm sure you know this trick. It's using the debug catalog that I've already mentioned, and it's a wonderful way how to give some more detail to your exteriors. I love using it, and I think every other simmer does as well. But now we're moving on into the interior. First, I'm just, struggling with the floor plan. I don't think it's the best floor plan I've ever made. I have to admit I was a bit lost with it. I had some idea what I meant to have in each floor, but the shape, I don't know, maybe today I would build it a bit differently. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is something I might have built 2 years ago maybe, but I still think it looks kind of nice and kind of cute, so I wanted to show you as well. And like I said, it's a nice build. I like it. So now I'm working on the living room. I've really meant to keep the train of thought, or rather the idea that this is an old estate, so I am using the lightings, candlelight lightings, to kind of achieve this old look. I think these still look electric and not like real candles, but pretend with me, okay? Additionally, I'm also using those cracks. You can see me, or you could have noticed I've added 2 right now, one to the light and the other next to the fireplace tools, so that it looks like when you were using them you might have accidentally smashed the wall a bit. I really you will see those cracks basically everywhere in the house, and I made the attempt to use them in logical places. You can disagree with me, of course, but I thought it could give the build a nice detail of that house being used, being somewhat lived in, not entirely lived in, since this is really supposed to be just a summer estate where you spend your summer holidays, and during the year it's probably empty, but still it's an estate that has been in the family for some time, I imagine. So that's why I thought that it would be quite nice to use those cracks and give them a logical placement. Now the kitchen, oh my god, this took me such a long time. I'm also pretty sure that I've changed the stove and the fridge afterwards, but you won't be able to see this in the speed build. I think, I don't think so, but I've changed those, but it will be visible in the last, in the screenshots at the end of the video. So this idea, I was incredibly proud of. It's already gone, but you can see it somewhere every now and then. Oh yeah, I've already used it there. So I'm using a picture from the Laundry Day stuff pack, I hope that's the name, and I'm using the lavender, that's just base game, to create these makeshift vases. I think it looks incredibly lovely, and once again it provides this French countryside vibe. So this is a bathroom that I'm building right now. It's the main bathroom in the whole house. There will be just a small half bath on the second or first floor, depending what you call it. But as you can see, we're back in the kitchen, and once again I'm doing something a bit more interesting. I'm using a piece of curtain to create this once again special piece of furniture. I don't know about you, but definitely like my grandma's kitchen has something like that, so I thought that maybe like using that curtain I could achieve this look, this old look, where you're probably there, it's like an open shelving basically under the sink, and most likely you have some items in there hidden, so you just put a piece of fabric in front of it to cover it, and I don't know, it felt realistic once again. Now I'm trying to decorate the kitchen. I thought it might look nice that maybe, once again, I was probably thinking about my grandma a lot, clearly, but you can see that notebook there simply because she's probably writing, like the person living here is probably writing her own recipes, and she's just, reading from that when she's cooking. It seems like we are moving on to the next floor, and we're working on the master bedroom. It didn't take me too long to opt for this bed. It's a base game bed. If you don't know that it's there, I think it's a hidden bed based on the carrier you're working with, so you might have not noticed it in the catalog, but it's such a lovely bed. I love the color, I love the sunflowers, everything is absolutely gorgeous. I'm trying to decorate everything, I would say relatively in a minimalistic way. I am trying not to overclutter anything, since, like I said, this is a summer estate. You're spending probably a couple of months in here, so there are not that many things, but I think it still looks like, it's being used, even though it's probably not being used whole year round. So now I'm just adding a couple of pieces, some shirts and some books to show that probably the people living here are there right now. Now I'm deciding on the beds. So here, this is the kids/teens room. I wasn't I didn't have any specific people in my mind, like any specific Sims. So the type of decoration is relatively standard. I think I have some posters there, so I'm using some sportsy things. The toddler rooms, on the other hand, is just like cutesy. There are some pictures. I use these base game curtains with cute, I think it's a bear under the tree, maybe? I'm not entirely sure, but I think there are two variations of those curtains, so I really wanted this room to give this room a cutesy look. Surprisingly, now when I'm looking at it, there are a lot of base game items. I think right now I'm seeing just base game items, so you can see that you can do a lot with just the base game. This shelf I thought was incredible, especially with that decal above it, so it looks like those clouds are continuing into the shelf, and it just really makes sense to me. So now I'm back in the kids/teens room. Like I've said, there are some backpacks added there. It seems like they're going to school, which wasn't really in line with the summer holiday house, but I thought that maybe they took some books with them to summer holidays, and so the idea was that this is not some school stuff, but some of their hobbies there. Adding more of those cracks. It's a kids room, so they probably could have destroyed that place a bit. Now I'm working on this sunroom. I hope that's what you call it, hopefully. So it's a dining room. I'm bringing back those sunflowers to keep the theme coherent. Once again, using those base game curtains, I really like those. They look so nice, and you know, it ties the colors in once again, like those greens and yellows. It just works so nicely. And now you could see me place the laundry day stuff pack rug. Excellent for this type of house. As you can see, I'm like popping in each room, adding some pieces of decorations, like those postcards. Once again, a base game item that's so lovely and so versatile. I just love using it. I'm also adding some pieces for like hobby. So here you could have noticed I've added the guitar. I'm now going to decorate, or at least I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to decorate this like office nook. Once again, adding some candles to make it, or this is not candlelight, this is like a petrol lamp. But yeah, trying to make it look like it's an old house. Maybe the electricity is not in each room, so you have to basically use candles and other pieces to light the rooms. Trying to place all the items where they're supposed to be, adding a couple of more details. Now this part I was absolutely lost on what to do with it. Probably my least favorite part of the build. I genuinely didn't know what to do. Once again, today I probably would have think of something else, but instead I made this into like a seating room with this like globe looking bar. Everything is probably too white, but you know, it doesn't matter that much. So I'm adding more lighting fixtures everywhere to make everything look the same. It's because of like using those candlelight lightings, we're getting a very warm yellow light in all those rooms. But if you don't like it, I kind of like it because I think it looks natural, but if you're opposed to it, of course, and if you want to download this build from the gallery, you can then in the live mode change the colors of the lights. So if you're not particularly fond of this yellowish look, feel free to change that in your game if you wish to download it. Now that I speak of the download, it will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. My ID is bohemian_Ronnie. Not sure whether it's going to be public by the time I post this speed build, but hopefully it will be. If not, just wait a couple of days and it's going to show up there. I'm still kind of figuring out my schedule, I have to say. So now I'm back outside the house and I'm trying to apply some terrain paint to achieve the realistic look. First, you can see me like lining up those pathways, adding basically like dirt everywhere to make it look used. So just light touches here and there, and it makes such a difference when you use the terrain paint. Everything looks suddenly very nice and realistic. Now I have to admit, we're getting towards the end of the video. I'm a bit tired. I really haven't done a voiceover for more than 3 years. I have no idea what I'm doing, but hopefully you like this video. And if you wish, you can follow me on Instagram or other media. You can all find it in the description down below. So have a lovely day and see you around soon. Bye.